So, what happens when a tool gets insanely popular, but the company behind it is collapsing? No, this isn't some business school hypothetical. The story of what happened to a beloved developer tool is actually a powerful preview of what's coming for all of us as AI starts to rewrite the rules of business. This idea from Nick Papageorge really gets to the heart of it, that Tailwind CSS is a canary in the coal mine. It's that early warning sign, a glimpse of a massive disruption that isn't theoretical, it's already happening right now. And here's the key, right? If you really want a sneak peek at how AI is going to shake up every industry, you have to watch the software engineers. Their world is changing faster than anyone's, and their struggles today are basically a roadmap for what many of us in knowledge work are gonna face tomorrow.
Okay, so let's dive in. Here's our plan. We'll start by looking at why developers are a window into the future. Then we'll unravel this bizarre paradox of Tailwind's success and its failure. And finally, we'll unpack what it all means for the bigger disruption that's just around the corner.
You see, software engineering is basically ground zero for AI's Big Bang. It's the place where you're seeing both these incredible leaps in productivity and leverage, but also these really intense fundamental challenges to what it even means to do the job. Their experience is our cheat code for the future.
And that brings us to Tailwind CSS. So what is it? Well, it's this hugely popular, completely free open source framework that helps web developers build websites and apps way, way faster. Developers absolutely love it. And crucially, AI coding assistants use it all the time. And that's exactly where the paradox starts.
Okay, to really get a sense of the scale here, just look at this number, 75.5 million downloads every single month. The tool is bigger than it's ever been. It's growing faster than ever. Its adoption is just completely off the charts. But here's the wild part. While that usage is just going through the roof, the business is cratering. Revenue is down almost 80%. I mean, how is that even possible? It's the exact opposite of what you'd expect from a product that's this successful. And this number? This one's the gut punch. This is the human cost of that whole paradox. 3/4 of the engineering team, the very people who built this incredibly popular tool, they lost their jobs. And this is the moment the whole thing just blew up online. A really raw, honest comment from the CEO, Adam Wathan, right on GitHub. It wasn't some polished press release. It was a candid, painful explanation of the crisis they were in, all because of AI. Okay, so what in the world actually happened here? The product was amazing, right? The problem was that AI it completely obliterated the path that turned free users into paying customers. The very thing that was supposed to keep the lights on. So you gotta understand the classic open source playbook, right? It goes like this. You give away an amazing tool for free. Then, when developers need help or want to learn how to use it, they come to your official website, your documentation, and there they discover all your premium paid products and hopefully become a customer. That documentation was the entire marketing and sales funnel. And this is where AI comes in and just snaps that chain in half. Suddenly, AI coding assistants became one of the biggest users of Tailwind, weaving it into all the code they generate for people. The problem? The AI never needs to visit the documentation for help. It already knows the answer. It uses the tool, but it completely bypasses the funnel. And here's the proof in the pudding. A jaw-dropping 40% drop in traffic to their documentation site. That was their most valuable asset for getting paying customers. They had more users than ever before, but fewer and fewer people were ever even seeing what was for sale. But just when things looked their bleakest, the story took this really surprising turn. After the CEO's honest comments on GitHub, he went on a podcast and just laid it all bare, the good, the bad, the ugly. That raw transparency resonated with people, and it went viral. And the response from the community? It was immediate. It was huge. You had major players in the tech world, companies like Google, Vercel, and others who depend on Tailwind for their own stuff, stepping up. They didn't just send their sympathies, they opened up their wallets, offering sponsorships to help keep this critical piece of internet infrastructure alive.
But here's the thing. Tailwind's story doesn't exist in a vacuum. To really get the whole picture, we have to talk about another absolute titan of the developer world that got hit hard by AI, the Q&A site Stack Overflow. And this is such a key distinction because it shows the two different ways AI can disrupt a business. For Tailwind, AI didn't kill the need for the product, it just broke the business model around it. But for Stack Overflow, AI attacks the core need itself. I mean, why would you go digging through old forum posts when a large language model that was trained on all that data can just give you the answer directly?
I mean, just look at this timeline. It shows how absolutely brutal the collapse was. It went from a peak of 300,000 queries a month all the way back down to the same level it was at in its very first month, way back in 2008. The rise of tools like ChatGPT just wiped out the reason for a huge number of people to even visit the site.
But this brings up a really interesting debate. Was AI really the killer here? Or was it more like an accelerant, something that just poured gasoline on a fire that was already smoldering? Did it just expose businesses that were already pretty fragile to begin with?
Because some people argue that the real issues were baked right into the business model itself. They relied on one-time purchases, not steady recurring subscriptions. Their paid stuff was kind of hard to find. And most importantly, they didn't really have a strong moat, a competitive advantage that was hard to copy, because an LLM could now do a lot of what they offered. And this quote from Akash Gupta, man, it just nails the core issue for everyone, not just developers. It's a wake-up call for any business that's built on information. If your main value proposition is something that a large language model can now do, well, your competitive advantage might be in some serious trouble.
So all of this leaves us with a really big, kind of scary question, doesn't it? Tools like Tailwind and Stack Overflow, they're like the public roads and bridges of the digital world. We all benefit from them, even if we don't realize it. But if AI breaks the business models that pay for them, how do we make sure these foundational tools and knowledge bases stick around? That's the challenge AI has dropped right at our feet.